Today's guest is someone I was lucky to meet earlier this year because he offered me a ticket to an event. He has extensive experience in analyzing real estate deals, in sales, and this year he's taken the plunge into converting hotels to multifamily investments. He runs Elkstone Capital, and I am grateful to sit down with Mitchell Rice.
So what have you been up to today?
Went and met with the CEO who just had a liquidity event, and he's considering investing in our fund. And so sat down with him for like a 2 hour meeting. Our partner from Alabama
Oh,
flew in. This is for my semi truck and logistics fund that I run with a friend. Um, and he needs a lot of depreciation, but before January 1st, or he's going to have to pay a bunch of taxes. And so when you buy machinery and equipment, technically it's a really good tax write-off because you can depreciate it over 3 to 5 years.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, and obviously with bonus depreciation at 60%, at least for the next 26 days, and then it drops to 40. A lot of people are trying to squeeze in last second investments to help with taxes. So yeah, I met with him and then went to Top Golf. Ended up at Rodizio Grill with a couple other investors and just drove home.
Wow. So with the semi truck, what's the depreciation like in comparison to gas stations? Or is it that?
I don't know how gas stations work. I know like multifamily real estate, for example, typically what it shakes out to is about 30% of dollars invested. So if you invest 100 grand, the GP will do their cost seg study and you end up getting about 30,000 back
Okay, that's
for
with the logistics. Oh no, that's
that.
with
No, that's just for
multifamily. Yeah,
multifamily. I don't know if a gas station is different. I mean,
it
uh,
is. It's really high. I don't know
really
exactly, but um I want to say it's close to 100%. It's pretty
interesting.
unique.
I've seen like Harris Investment Group and a couple other
Yeah.
groups down in Pro doing them, so I figured it was a depreciation play.
Yeah, that's where I learned it. I saw Bronson at an event and we were talking a bit and
Oh,
I
cool.
I've never done gas stations, but it's a pretty unique uh
Yeah.
industry for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good to know. So the trucks are, uh, I mean, it's just the bonus depreciation. So 100% of the value of the truck. So if the truck costs 75 grand, we could take 60% of that 75K. And then typically there's titling costs, and insurance, and costs to recruit the drivers, and new tires, and racking and lights, and a couple of different expenses that go into the truck's year one. And so all those year one expenses are 100% depreciable right away. So it ends up shaking out to like 66% is kind of what we're estimating.
That's cool. Yeah. Hotels, so we're doing a hotel fund and it's similar with as you know, it's it's better depreciation with the cost seg than a traditional multifamily. And I know that you have the strategy of hotel to multifamily, which also works in
Yeah,
different ways for sure.
right. But I don't know. So is it better than if you just keep it as a hotel?
Um, if you keep it as a hotel, then the cost seg is really good.
Yeah, I
With
figured it'd be better.
with the leverage, it's about 70% of people's invested capital that they can get back
Okay.
year one.
Wow.
But but that's with pretty good leverage. Um but hotels are unique. I'm new to the hotel space. I'm not a but I've become a little bit of an evangelist because it's pretty it all depends on the operator. That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
Like it's a little bit more you're placing your bets on can the operator fulfill? Can he execute? With multifamily,
yeah,
it's you're less reliant on one person's performance.
sure.
Um, but if you have that operator and you have good properties, it's an industry that's highly profitable. But there's a
Dude,
lot of those.
I'm gonna stop you real quick. You just made me think of something that I'm actually gonna like explore. So we just purchased that 100 unit hotel, and
Uh,
it's a hotel until next year. So like
You could do a cost seg on it.
Yeah, do a cost seg while it's still a hotel. Because what was the number you said?
It's about 70 to 75% of people's original capital. That's based on the wealth manager's advice
Yeah,
that he's told us. So
but that's way better than
um,
30. So do it as a hotel.
way better.
That helps the investors. And next year, then we get CO
Yeah.
when we officially, convert it to multifamily. I'm assuming we couldn't do another cost segment once it's multifamily. I'm sure that
No.
would work, but interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna explore that.
Yeah. Explore it for sure. Which 100 unit did you purchase?
It was a hotel in Houston, so just right out off the port in an area called Channelview, so like blue collar heaven. And
Yeah.
it was just a no flag extended stay hotel. And yeah, 100 units. It'll be 110 once we're done. We're gonna knock out some storage and laundry to add
Okay.
some spaces.
So how many funds do you operate? I thought the only one that I knew about was the hotel to multifamily, but you have the trucking and logistics.
Yeah, that is the only fund I'm a part of. All the real estate I do is just deal by deal, so it's syndicates. Yeah,
Okay. In Elkstone Capital, it's all syndications.
so
Oh,
far.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't know that. So now I do. That's why we do
yeah,
these conversations, right?
yeah. Eventually, I would love to turn it into a fund, but right now it makes a lot of sense just to do things deal by deal with where the capital markets are at. And I think once things pick back up, then it's at least the way I see it. The hotter the market, the better the fund model does. The colder the market, the better the syndication model does.
Yeah, I can see that because there's an automatic haircut with a fund model, right? And with syndication, you can be flexible with funds and syndications, but there's the return difference can be a little bit greater with being flexible in a syndication model. It comes with its
Mhm.
downsides, but yeah, in a colder market, I could totally see that for sure. So I we just got connected on LinkedIn, like 6 months ago, and still don't know each other super well. But what I do know about you is that you know how to build relationships, which I think is so key in our industry where we are working with people's trust, people's capital, and
Yeah,
and relationships are the type of thing where you can't mess up and expect the relationship to stay intact. You can have a bad deal and have the
yeah,
relationship stay intact, but you kind of get one chance for most people.
yep.
Um, and so I'm curious, have you felt like that's been a skill that you have cultivated? Is that kind of a natural born proclivity that you've had that you've been just kind of blessed with that? Or have you made conscious efforts to kind of the how to win how to have friends and influence people, that kind of mentality?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up that book. I was just thinking about that book again today. I was like, I think that was the second self-help book I ever read. I was 18, just graduated high school, and my dad gave me his copy.
Wow.
And I went out and did door-to-door sales. So the first book I read was Greatest Salesman That Ever Lived. And then the
What type
second
of sales did you do?
I did alarms. That was
Okay,
my,
cool.
so this was in 2015. So I graduated high school. I said bye to all my friends. I borrowed my dad's old diesel truck and I drove 2,000 miles to Houston, Texas. And, and it was great mission prep because then I went on a 2-year mission for my church. And it just, hitting the doors for 3 months before that, it just made me not afraid to talk to anybody. And then as a missionary, you do it for 2 years. And it's like if you can just knock on a door and cold contact somebody, then you can talk to anybody. You know what I mean? So I think it was a combination of yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was always an extrovert, but I yeah, over time I became that way.
Did you just do sales for 1 year, or did you do it when you came back from the
No, I
mission
did a
too?
lot. I did it before a mission. I did it So I did another summer of alarms in 2018, and then I switched to pest control. I did 19, 20, and then my last full month was May of 2021. I made about 55 grand, and then the next month I was at an internship working for free. So
Oh, yeah,
I
quite the difference
that was
there.
that was really hard because like I was really good at sales, but I recognized the vision and like how lucrative real estate could be, and then I was back to here in a new industry, and I've been working my way up since.
I think that's such a key to building lasting wealth that I've just noticed as I've listened to so many founders and very, ultra high net worth individuals that people are patient. They know the game and they're willing to play it and they're willing
Yeah,
to put in the work. There's there's some trust fund kids for sure, but by and large, if you're gonna build wealth, you have to just be willing to do what it takes, and there's not a lot of shortcuts.
no,
Um, and and if you try to take shortcuts, then you either flounder or you end up in lawsuits. And
exactly. Yeah, you get one chance, and if you tarnish your
yeah,
reputation once, like you're done. Like, I mean, you can move to another market and restart, and but the real estate community is pretty small, like especially on LinkedIn.
yeah,
So yeah, if I ever did anything fraudulent, like everybody would know about it, and I would never be able to do another deal. So
yeah, people talk for
yeah,
sure.
people talk. So I think like moving back to your question about relationships, um, yeah, we're all gonna have bad deals that, fall apart for things maybe out of our control, maybe things that should have been in our control that we didn't pay close enough attention to. Um, you know, we try to eliminate all that risk and underwrite very conservatively and lay out all the potential risks for our investors so they know what they're getting into. And we try to underpromise and overdeliver. And um, and yeah, like I think I genuinely want to help people. Like the sad thing about our industry is there's a lot of schmucks. Like there really are a lot of people who are out there just to make as much money off people as they can. That's not me. I want to build relationships that last for 30 years and get people like coming back year after year after year with $100,000 checks or more, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, that's so crucial. People just go for the quick win, and it's terrible. Just from a practical standpoint, it's not going to pay off, and just from an integrity standpoint, it's so not worth it. You get a couple of checks, congratulations, you get to buy a $300,000 McLaren instead of $100,000 Porsche, and now no one respects you. Like, great trade-off, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so it's just so key. And I want to go back to when you said LinkedIn, you now
Mm,
have over 8,000 followers. Not an
yeah.
easy feat.
I like 7,900. So almost breaking eight.
7,900.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super impressive. What did you do to build that following?
Dude, it was all organic. I started like 5 years ago. And I remember, so before you get to 500 connections, it shows your exact number.
Huh?
And so it's like, if you see somebody's profile, it's like 111. It's like, they're not serious about LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to be that guy. And so I remember working so hard to get to that 500. And then, and then it was like a breath of relief. I wasn't worried about people judging me anymore. But then I learned about creator mode a few years ago. And if you change your LinkedIn profile to creator mode, it shows your follower count. I was like, huh. And then I saw all these other creators out there, and like I was never the guy who wanted to like create a big following and be the guru. But like in our day and age, you have to advertise what you're doing and create your brand. And that's the best way to raise capital. That's the best way to find deals from brokers. Like it's so important. Um, so I would just start posting once, twice, sometimes three times a week. And I didn't do it with the intent of trying to get money or trying to get anything out of anybody. I did it with the intent of just sharing what I was learning because I thought it was cool. And I just did that for years, and that's where it led me.
That's such a good lesson. Just sharing what you want to because you think it's cool. And
Yeah.
it's it's crazy that the simplest approach is the one that works the best, is when you're just providing valuable insights to people and posing interesting questions,
Yeah.
providing feedback to people's posts. It really
Yeah.
is that simple.
Well, that's part of it too. Like you can't just like take. Like I genuinely enjoy being on LinkedIn and seeing what other people are doing. And like you, for example, like we've met in person, we've talked, but like you said, we haven't spent a ton of time together. But like I love seeing your stuff. And it's just so cool the day and age we live in. You can know somebody without ever having even met them in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty unique. I've taken this um I've internalized this more the last couple of years, but whenever I see someone I haven't checked in on in a while, they always bring up my Instagram posts. Oh, the latest Instagram post they've seen or the latest stories. It's all like a focal point around your shared experiences on Instagram because that's all that you've shared.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so you can know someone a little bit based off their social media,
Yeah.
and what you put out in the world is what people know you by. And so you get to you get to control what kind of messaging you want people to associate you with. Is it
Yeah.
and that's important, right? Taking control over people's perception of you you know in a in a way that is responsible. You're not manipulating people, but
Right.
you're choosing what, do people take you seriously? Do people know the work that you're putting in
Mm-hmm.
to provide good deals to investors? Do they know that you prioritize your family? Like you can help people have a good idea of who you are so that they
Yeah.
want to work with you or want to associate with you.
I need to coin a name for this, but I think there's this phenomenon that we have that we think everybody knows what we're doing
Mm,
just because it's our world, it's what we're doing all the time. Nobody like A cares what you're doing and B knows what you're doing at all unless you're like consistently putting content out there and showing them your projects and what you're working on. So like I'm trying to get over that because a lot of the times I feel like people already know what I'm up to, but really they don't. And I'm learning so much every day that I should be sharing that I think could help the community. So that's one thing I'm trying to improve,
yeah.
just the
And
consistency.
you do that better than a lot of people that I know. I'm not consistent on LinkedIn, but without fail, whenever I log on, you've provided a valuable comment or a post, and I am very aware that of your presence, and there's a lot to be said for that. Like people, when your name is in people's heads, when they
Mm,
have a deal come to the across their table, they're gonna also think of you. It's just
yeah.
it's just human nature, and so I've learned a lot from you, and I want to take that and be more um, involved in LinkedIn, and I'm actually trying to kind of figure out the issue for me is I like so many different things. I like comedy quite a bit, but I also
Hmm.
like
I love your
you know
comedic stuff.
it's
It's so
it's
funny.
pretty stupid.
It's
It's
no,
pretty
it's awesome.
stupid. But I also am like you where valuing these relationships in our industry in real estate and fund management, private equity, that venture capital, all those spaces. And so I don't think they have to be mutually exclusive, but um, I'm in the middle of trying to figure out how do I have a cohesive brand and what does that look like on Instagram versus LinkedIn versus TikTok? It's a question
It's
I'm kind of,
different. It's
yeah.
like because they're different people on these platforms, right? That's the
Hmm.
hardest thing. I've been struggling with the same thing. And so sometimes I'll have like the same post, like it's the same thing, but I'll write it differently or I'll phrase it differently or I'll leave this out. And it's kind of custom tailored for, across the different platforms. And that's where it gets hard to scale because it's like a lot of these creators have VAs who are like posting their stuff. and like even writing their prompts. It's like I'm not doing that. Everything for me is organic, but it does make it so it's slow.
Yeah. But I think that's good. I mean, I think that there's such a immense amount of content that just feels so low hanging. The AI voiceover, the copy and paste captioning. If it's working for people now, I just think people are going to gravitate towards more and more sincerity in the
Yeah,
future. People are going to get this sick taste in their mouth of fake. And
yeah,
so I think being authentic throughout the whole way is going to be the long-term win, like we were talking about.
yeah, for
Um,
sure. And one other thought I had is like
yeah,
I have this thought all the time. It's like I'm just gonna make a funny video that blows up. And like I could go replicate so many videos out there that have done well. I think I could get like several thousands of views from it. But yeah, it goes back to what you said, like who is your target market? If you're just making like and this is no diss on you, I love your videos. But
no,
like if you're just making like random stuff that doesn't have to do with your brand at all, then like who are you attracting? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
that's one thing I've been like Braden Day is somebody who's really good at this. I don't know if you've seen
Is
his
it like the Fulcrum guy in
Fulcrum.
Idaho?
Yeah. I don't know
I
why
don't.
his last name's different on his Instagram. I don't think that's actually his last name. Or maybe it is, but
It probably isn't.
anyways, he's so dialed in and I know that he's raising millions of dollars right now through
Yeah, and
his
he just started doing syndications. I remember.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
So
and Grant Cardone, you know, I'm not a big fan of him, but he has very consistent messaging and uh he's been massively successful because of it.
yeah, yeah, he raises so much money, stupid money.
And you're
So
so right. And I'm glad you said that because it's not a diss on me, but it's true that you also give the algorithm mixed messaging. It doesn't know where
mhm,
to direct your content and it's not consistent.
mhm,
And you want the people who are going to be in the same space that you're wanting to be in that are going to further mutual goals, both the
yeah,
recipient and the creator.
mhm,
And there's a part of me that would like to live out the Hollywood dream, but that's
yep,
probably not going to happen. And so let's focus on the dream that I am going to live and
yeah.
surround yourself with those people.
I have seen some like, especially like a lot of realtors, I've seen them mix like comedy and with like the real estate they're doing, and that seems to work really well. So like
Yeah.
I need to sit down and like spend more time thinking about like, okay, how could I take syndication and funds and like make it emotional and exciting and fun to watch?
hmm
Um, I think there's a balance for sure.
I think you're so right. You have to identify who your target market is because, I'm sure that there are some ultra high net worths that are laughing at those
Hmm.
comedy videos and then like connecting. I'm sure there are some, and I don't really know. So this is all speculation, but for realtors, everyone sells and purchases homes. And so, uh, well,
Good
not
point.
everyone, a lot of people. So like, even though they are just producing comedy content, it's still reaching their target audience. It's just like a way to disperse it better. But
Yeah,
with a fund where, our hotel fund has a minimum of 100K, that there's not a lot of people that are just laughing on Instagram that are like, oh, I'll write you a check for 100K. Like
right.
it's just a little bit different.
But big but. So so like LinkedIn, you would think LinkedIn's definitely the place to play, and it is for what you're doing. However, what I've learned is like you still need to be on Instagram talking about that hotel phone because those people's parents might invest in your deal. And they're gonna go tell that their
Mhm.
rich uncle about your hotel deal that you just posted. You know what
It's
I
true.
mean? I've witnessed this firsthand all year long because like I resisted using Instagram for the longest time. And finally I started posting this year because I realized that like everybody has a a rich connection, like somebody just super wealthy. And whenever I add value to people, you know how you do a favor for somebody and they're always like, "What can I do for you?" And you just kind of shrug it off like, "Oh, nothing, you're good."
Yeah.
Biggest mistake. Like if you add value to somebody, don't let them get off for free. Say, actually, yeah, there is something you can do. Who can you introduce me to that's looking for a good investment? I've got a really good hotel fund, and I
Yeah.
and they're going to 2x their money because of XYZ, and this is why we love the deal. Like, who could benefit from this? And by doing that, I've gotten referrals that have invested.
Yeah, because just this year you've raised, I want to say 15 million year to date. Is that accurate?
Yep.
That's no small feat. And that's mostly just been your own efforts, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, about half of that was programmatic, so meaning it was a joint venture, and I found the group that they went and brought their own investors into the deal.
Still
But
on you though.
can't
Still
really.
your efforts.
Yeah, I facilitated the deal, and I definitely saved the project that was involved with needing that 7 million. Um, but the other half, yeah, it's been me meeting with people every day on Zoom, going to lunches, going out to golf, flying out to meet people, um, and relationship building, and a lot of
Are you a
patience.
big golfer?
Uh, I don't like love it, but
Yeah.
I think it's important for networking for business, so I'm trying to get good at it.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Well, actually, I do like golf, but I'm not good.
Yeah,
And I just had my first formal lesson yesterday, and I'm
no
already
way.
loving it. Just
Congrats,
huge
that's awesome.
improvements. It's fun though. It is fun. As with a lot of things, they're more fun when you're good at it. And
That's
uh,
true.
when I hated art in elementary school, it's actually just I sucked at art. That's what that translated to. But
Yep,
but you're right. You do kind of, you know, you dance the dance, and you don't want to be inauthentic, but you got to go where people are talking business. One of our GPs in our hotel fund, he's an RIA, he's a wealth manager
cool.
who was transitioning from Mountain America and trying to do his own thing. He
Hmm.
got paired up randomly with this guy, has a book of business of close to $500 million of he's also a wealth manager, and he has a great portfolio, and his model helps the individual advisors retain most of um, the fees, whereas Mountain America, they take about 70% of the
No
management fee.
way.
Yeah,
Dude, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're putting this out there because I don't know why financial advisors don't branch out and be more independent and do more alts. Like
they should.
9 out of 10, I literally walk up to them and I say, I'm looking for a great registered investment advisor or broker dealer. I will pay you for bringing me capital, or I'll even get you equity in the deals. And like none of them get excited. I don't get it.
Yeah. It's
I don't know.
there are some complexities there that we're also kind of tackling because they do have with their fiduciary responsibilities, it's tricky, but they
Yeah,
can always set up a call. They can always say, check this out. I'm not endorsing it, but hear this
sure.
guy out. Um, and you're right, that is definitely a play. Um, but I guess to my point, they then become partners on the golf course and changes this guy's life from a golf round. And
Wow.
I'm having lunch with him next week. So now I get that connection because he went golfing. So thank you, AJ, if you're listening to this. But like, um, but it's just like, the the classic it's not what you know, it's who you know. You do have to know a lot, but
Yeah,
the who you know is also highly adaptable. You can put yourself in situations where you meet people. It's
yeah,
not just a born a God-given right that high net worth individuals. You can go and connect with them, and they're the most generous people out there. They
typically.
really are.
Yeah,
They want to share the wisdom. You don't want to seem like a a hyena, some predator just going after their checkbook. I genuinely would prefer to learn from their mistakes, their wins, their losses,
Yeah.
because I have a long career ahead of me. Maybe I'll be a founder at some point. Um, Whatever they're doing, I might dip my toes into it, and I want to
Yeah.
know what I'm getting into. That wisdom is invaluable, and so just and they're usually very, very open to
Yeah.
talking about it. Have
Yeah.
you found that?
Yes. Yeah. That CEO today I mentioned that we went down and met with him. Yeah. And that was like the third time we've sat down with him. And every time he talks, I learned so much. Like, yeah. And exactly. If I'm ever starting a company in the niche in the industry that he's in, like, he's the guy I'm going to call. Like, hey, how did you do this? Hey, when you were in this lawsuit, like, how did you handle it? XYZ.
It's weird that you can pick up on some attributes of people without really knowing them that well. Like one thing that I just realized with you that, I recognize is that you're a sponge. You are a sponge for knowledge, um and you're not um egotistical at all. It's not like I know everyone. It's like, who do you know? I want to meet them.
Yeah.
That's, we saw each other at an event, and I
Hmm.
was talking about how we're doing this hotel fund with a cool broker, and then immediately you're like, "What's his name?" And then you're messaging him on LinkedIn right there, and I
Yeah,
was
I
so
did.
impressed. And it's just such a good lesson. Like, don't. Who cares if you know the most people in the room? Who cares if you raise the most money? Be the person who's most open to talking, who's most open
Yeah,
to learning, and I get the sense of that from you. So it's really
I
cool.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So with 2024 wrapping up, what are you looking forward to in 25 with both your business and also just personal goals or personal things you're looking forward to?
Yeah. So I mean, this was my first year off on my own, syndicating, running a fund, and I've just learned a ton. And so, I mean, one of my big goals that is at the forefront of my mind right now is I have a CRM that I started this year, and it's been painstakingly slow to like get off the ground, and it's been a learning curve for me to figure out how to use and just to get people into the system. For those who don't know what a CRM is, it's a client relationship management system. So it's in syndication, it's twofold. For most businesses, it's for sending out email campaigns and remarketing clients, retargeting clients, and hopefully moving people towards a purchasing decision or investing decision in my case. But for syndication, it's twofold in the sense that it also serves for compliance, so that you have a paper trail for when you created a relationship with somebody. And that's important because there's two types of exemptions with the SEC if you're going to do a fund or a syndication. There's 506C, which means we can only take accredited investors and we can advertise it anywhere. But 506B, they give us 35 non-accredited investors to bring into the deal, but we can't pitch the deal anywhere publicly. If we do, we can go to jail. Um, and part of the compliance with 506B is you have to have the relationship made already. So, like, if I didn't know somebody and I found a deal and I did 506B, I couldn't show them that deal because I didn't know them before I had the deal. Does that make sense? So,
Yep.
like, so that's one of my goals for 2025 is to just really dial in my CRM for both compliance and for raising capital. And I want to have I want to have 1,000 emails in my email list and just be really disciplined with a weekly newsletter, like the Brandon Turners of the world. I want to send out,
Mhm.
I don't want to spam people, and I still need to think through this. I think I'm gonna err on the side of like very short emails that are just teaching a concept, like something really concrete, and just once a week. So, and
Let's
then,
churn that out.
and honestly, kind of posting that content on social media as a lead magnet. Um, all things I need to think through. You have to think through how to get people into the CRM, and then how do I warm them up? How do I build trust, educate them, and get them really excited to come invest in real estate with me? So that's one of
Yeah,
my 2025 goals.
that's super cool. Um, do you use Carta? Do you use Appfolio or
So for my CRM, I use Active Campaign. That's what it's
oh,
called.
okay. We use Appfolio, so I was just curious. I haven't heard of
App,
that one.
yeah, Appfolio. So that lets you do like property management solutions as well, right?
It
Or
does,
is it?
yeah.
Yeah,
It does that and investor platform. But
yeah. It's good two for one.
yeah, it is. But there's a lot out there. And so I was just curious what one you found. But that's really cool. So getting the weekly we'll just consistent content out there, building the CRM.
Yeah, and the reason that's
And
important is because like even if you post a killer post on LinkedIn, I don't know if this is true, but I read the stat somewhere. Like the algorithm might only show your post to 25% of your friends or your followers.
mm,
Versus like a CRM, you have full control over making sure that gets in the inbox of every single person in there. So
yeah,
100%. They're not all going to open it, but my open rate's like 70 to 80%, which is pretty good. Um, got
that's super good.
yeah. So like that's why it's important
Yeah.
because and things happen. Like I've heard horror stories of people spending years building up their social media accounts and one wrong post that the X didn't like or not X or maybe or LinkedIn and like their account is blocked or removed indefinitely and they don't get it back and they have to restart from ground zero. Like, can you imagine having to do that after having like 10, 20,000 followers? That'd be a nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're making sure all those people are
Wow.
coming into your CRM, then like you have something to fall back on in
Yeah.
case you ever had to restart.
Yeah, and like you said, it helps with developing those relationships. We have a C fund, a 506C fund and a 506B. Um, anything I'm saying now is not soliciting for that, by the way, because it's already
Touche.
mostly funded, to be honest. Well, one of them, the private one. Um, but with the 506B where you need the relationships, great way is through that CRM. You develop a relationship, you hop on a couple calls, you get to know
Hmm.
them, and then you're not in jeopardy of breaking any violations that the
Yep.
SEC has put in place. Um, so it's really smart. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's one of the goals. I mean, obviously, other goal is just to keep ripping deals. Uh, this year, let's see, did two syndications and then this fund. Next year, I want to at least do probably five syndications.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're looking
and
at so many deals, right? I mean, what would you say your
uh,
ratio is for deals that come across your computer that you fairly thoroughly underwrite compared to what you
um,
actually go into?
I don't know. I feel like I don't have a good sample set for that yet because I'm so new.
Mm,
But I could tell you from what I've heard from more experienced operators, like it's like 100 to 1. It's like they have to
yeah.
underwrite 100 deals to go under contract or to submit an offer for 10 to win the bid on one. And like that
Mm.
isn't uncommon. So, um, yeah, I don't have a good answer for that, but I would say,
Because you're fairly on the front end of all of it.
but I would say volume is important, and that is one of my things I'm trying to solve, and we're working on hiring interns right now, actually, so we can get better underwriting volume because I just
So if
can't do
anyone
it.
needs a job as an analyst or underwriter,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
Talk to me.
that's cool. You met Brandon Turner pretty recently, right?
Yeah,
Or
I
am I
did.
mixing? You did at an event. I thought you
I, I,
posted
s-
about
I,
that.
s- I still haven't posted the photo of us, but I've got a picture with them. I've been meaning to share. So
How was that? Was that cool?
it was so cool. He's such a good guy. Like sometimes we think these successful people are just like so far over here from us and they're just inhuman, but he was the most down to earth person I think I've ever met. So kind.
Mm. For people that don't know, he started probably the most famous real estate podcast, Bigger Pockets,
Yeah.
and now is massively successful with running different real estate deals.
Yeah. Big
But
beard about this long.
yeah,
That's his trademark.
I wonder how long he's been growing that thing out.
Uh, Probably
But
years.
that's cool that you were. It's a good lesson that people are open. People are down to earth most of the time, and if they're not, you
Yeah.
probably wouldn't want to associate with them anyway. So it's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, and I'll share one really cool thing from that experience. I met AJ Osborne as well, who's like really big self-storage guy. I'm sure you've seen him on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
and social media. He's also got a big beard. He's got that big red beard. I don't know what's up
both
with these guys
killers.
with beards. Yeah.
Hey, is that why you're
Anyways.
growing yours out?
Uh, I don't know, man. I'm experimenting. I haven't so Mission, BYU, which is a private university for my church, um, and then I worked for my church for 2 years. So I don't know if most people don't know this, but the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has a for-profit real estate investment arm. So they know about Enzyme Peak. Those are the guys in the news who run the stocks and the bonds. But their sister company, Property Reserve, that's who I worked for. And so they invest heavily in industrial real estate, multifamily, office, um, retail. They were even starting to look into alternative asset classes like self-storage when I was on my way out. But that's how I got my experience learning to underwrite.
What's it called?
PRI, Property Reserve
Yeah.
Inc. But
Okay.
anyways, we couldn't grow beards there. So this is the first time in the time I've physically been able to grow a beard that I've had the opportunity. So I'm trying it.
Oh, looks good.
Thanks.
I think you're following in good footsteps.
Yeah.
But so you said you had the opportunity to meet AJ.
Yes. So one thing I gleaned, and I'll actually take it back to Brandon. I asked Brandon, how can I add value to you? Like you're here adding value to us. Like, how can I help you? Is there any possible thing I could do to help you? And he was like, actually, I'm looking for deals. And I was like deals for like your syndication group? He's like, no, like for my active portfolio. And I was like, oh, interesting. So like he's looking for stuff to buy for his own private portfolio with all the money that he's made through, their public offerings. Um, and I just thought that was super interesting. I was like, cool, I'll keep my eyes up for something that cash flows for you. So
That's way
I'm
cool.
planning on sending him something.
That's awesome. Who would have thought that the guy who you think has all the deals is asking
For
for
deals.
deals?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So I thought
really
that was
cool.
worth sharing.
That's really cool because it highlights the key of asking, of being willing to really follow through, not just a hollow, what can I do for you? You know,
Mm,
if he says, yeah, I'd like you to, um, I don't know, I can't think of an example. It's something off the rails. You'd be willing to look into it and see if you're able to accomplish it.
yeah.
And so having the sincerity behind the ask and then the willingness to follow through with it, that's cool. And that's right down your lane. You're like, send you deals. Yes, I will send you deals.
Yep.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And it just goes to show that like the people that have made it, like they still need help. They still need assistance. And you can add value even to the big dogs, the big whales, if
Yeah.
you're
Goes back to that principle of Brandon Turner is the biggest guy in the room, but he was the one asking for insights, for deals. And that's not a coincidence, I don't think.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's why he's successful. Exactly.
Yeah. That's really awesome. Well,
Other
so
2025 goals. I mean, I've got physical goals, obviously.
mhm.
I think I'm going to sign up for Lotaja, which scares the heck out of me. It's the Logan to Jackson bike ride.
Yeah, 212, something like that.
I think so. It's like,
Or maybe I'm thinking, oh no, it's like 212, I think. Something like that.
yeah. So that one, I rode 100 miles last year by myself, and it was pretty
Wow.
hard. I think I have more in me, especially if I train, but it's like twice that. Like that's a long time in the saddle. So that's something that scares me that I'm going to sign up for and start training for. And I still haven't done a marathon. I've done a half. Um, this year
You did some Spartans, right?
I did, yeah. I mean, for me, those are a cakewalk now. I just they don't even scare me anymore. So I do the Spartan Beast every year. I love it. It's like it's a half marathon. You run up Snow Basin Ski Resort and back down pretty much. And there's 30 obstacles mixed in. So that one's, by the way, there's a deal on that until tomorrow, 2 for 1.
Oh,
So if anybody wants to do it, Cyber Monday
okay.
through December
This is
5th.
going to come out after that, unfortunately. But
Do that's all right.
yeah,
They like throw out deals every month. So if you miss
yeah,
a deal, like there'll be
yeah. That's cool. It's interesting. You said a phrase that I've adopted as of 2022 that each year I want to do something that scares me.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's like intentionally your phrase that you use, but um so the Loto Jaw is the one that's scaring you that you're going to sign up for 2025.
Yeah, that and the marathon. The
Yeah,
marathon was,
both of those.
yeah, probably about the same. Lodija is like for me, it's a war of stamina. Whereas like the marathon is like a battle of pain. Like I know it's just gonna hurt so bad. Like I have really flat feet, and I know, but by like mile 18, I know that my IT band of my right leg is gonna be flaring, and my ankles are gonna feel like they have needles in them, and it's just gonna be like another 8 miles of pure hell.
Yeah.
Um, versus like the bike, it's not pain like running, like using your joints repeatedly for hours. But it's you're burning so many calories and your butt hurts because you're in the saddle for 8 hours, 10 hours straight. For me, it's probably like 13. Um, so they're different.
Yeah, different pains.
Yeah.
There's so much discipline being able to just do the exact same movement for 13 hours, and that's what biking is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I
And
guess
if you
running too.
post this, I just publicly committed to these two hard
Good.
things. Let's go.
This will be your accountability right
Yeah.
here. Yeah,
As soon
that's
as I
so
do it.
cool. I I think you'll do just fine. If you're
Thanks,
already
man.
planning on that now, when are they? Like the Lotus Jaw is what in like August or
September
something?
7th.
Okay.
And I'll probably maybe go do like the Ogden Marathon. I think that one's like May
Okay.
15th or something.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's
Some good
awesome.
downhill marathon where I could just cruise and try to keep a quick pace.
Yeah. Marathon's longer than people think. It's it's like time dilation after mile 18. You're like,
Well,
holy crap, we've passed
haven't you
half a mile. It's been an hour.
haven't haven't you done like 50 milers?
I did one 50 miler.
That's
Actually,
crazy.
I did one legit 50 miler, and then one was like a pseudo run. I was walking by 5 mile 50. But um yeah, it's all just training, you know? It's and I tore a ligament in June and I haven't really been able to run.
Oh,
Not
really?
from running, actually, from water skiing. But
Oh, no way.
yeah, it makes me
Slalom?
miss it. Um, it was in Island Park, actually.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking
Yeah.
about that. How
Uh-huh.
you have a
Yeah.
cabin up there, and my family has one too. We'll have to hang out up
Yeah.
there.
We're going up there through New Year's if you're up there. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so the reason I say this is like last week, no, 2 weeks ago, I went on a 1 mile run, and honestly, it was too much. Like I'm still not ready to run with my foot, but it felt so long, and it was a
Mm,
mile, and it's just all relative. The
yeah.
more you train, like a marathon is so long, but you've
Yep.
already done a half marathon, and so it's just all about readjusting expectations and your framework. You'll get
Dude, you're
there.
so right. And I know I can do it because my half, it was at that time that seemed like a lot, and I was scared to do that. And I just walked out the door and did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't an official race. It was like 6 p.m. was like February or March of this year. It was dark. I just went out. I just started running. I was like, I'm gonna go run until I run a half marathon. I did. It was great.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
You're gonna be just fine. You'll need to train because
Yeah.
I tried to do that with a marathon actually, and I made it to, and I was running a little bit. I was probably running more than you were, but I made it to mile 15 and then hit a wall, right? So
Really.
like a marathon is it's good because you can't, I guess maybe if you're like some Kenyan who's just a beast of genetics, but like you can't really just fake a marathon.
Yeah.
Um, but with a little bit of training, if you're starting out at a half marathon base, you're gonna be just fine.
Good.
But
Good deal.
dude, that's so exciting. Well, I think 2025 is going to be a good year, and I'm trying to figure out the thing that scares me because I can't really do anything physical with my foot. I really don't
Yeah.
like swimming. I find zero enjoyment in it, but maybe that will be a goal that I do because of that. So maybe it'll
Yeah.
be centered around swimming. I don't know. Trying to figure that one out.
The the Spudman's pretty fun. That's the triathlon they do in my hometown of Burley, Idaho, every year, end of
Okay,
July. And you jump in the river, you swim down river, so it's like the easiest triathlon swim, but it's super fun.
that's way
And then
fun.
you get out, you ride your 25 miles, and you run a 10K. So it's like I don't know if your foot will be
Pretty
better by
doable.
then, but it's
It
super.
should be by then, hopefully.
I recommend that one to anybody.
Mm. Good, good recommendation there.
But if you sign up last year, I think it's like New Year's or January 5th, typically when sign up opens. And last year it sold out in 12 minutes. So
Oh my
3,000.
gosh.
Yeah. So it's super
Burley,
fun.
Idaho. Is it a big town?
No, it's like 12 to 15,000 probably right now.
Okay.
So
Everyone
it's
just pulls up. Everyone shows up for
everybody
that.
pulls up. Yeah, everybody knows about it for some reason. It's like a really popular triathlon. Everybody from
That's
Utah.
amazing.
So you should
Okay,
do
well,
it.
I'm gonna check that out. That sounds pretty
Yeah,
fun. Got to see what the hype's all about up there. Burley, Idaho,
right.
pulling in huge crowds.
It seriously does. So
That's cool. Well, Mitchell, do you go by Mitchell or Mitch? See, this is how new we are with knowing each other.
either I don't have a
Okay.
preference to be honest.
Okay. Well, Mitchell, it was so fun talking with you. I'm glad that I think a lot of people just need more education about the space, and it's fun talking about what we're up to and a lot of the same goals, running a lot of the same circles, and I think it's just gonna be a long-standing relationship that I'm excited about to keep learning from you and
Same.
just associating with you. It'll be cool.
You too, man. I think we got a lot to learn from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again. Hope you have an awesome night. We'll have to do this again sometime when you close some more deals in 2025 and get the status report on that.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, see ya.
Thanks. Bye.